Hey there, this is TJR, and I've got Superfan here with me.
Hey everybody.
You sound very sad and down, Superfan, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment here. Now, I don't normally talk about this sort of thing on this channel, but lately it seems that I have been talking about things that I don't normally talk about. Just earlier in the week, I mentioned how the Disneyland theme park here in Orange County was going to make their facilities available as a vaccination superstation for COVID-19 with the attempt to try to get 20,000 people or so inoculated a day starting this weekend. And I found that to be a positive sign, or as I should say, the first positive sign of the light at the end of the tunnel. Even though we're still not out of the woods, this is going to be a while before we get everybody inoculated, but I thought it was the first positive sign. And I know most of you come here to hear me talk about music, mostly. I know some of you come here to hear me talk about film and animation, and comics, which I do talk about as well. But we're going to talk about something different here. And if you're unfamiliar with this, if you're thinking, well, I come here for the other stuff, I think you should stick around, because if not for my association with Superfan, I would not be aware of the very strong culture there is here in Southern California of Disneyland pass holders, and also that it's a community of people.
A big community.
Yeah, a very big community. And I think a lot of people outside of that culture and that community just aren't aware of this, how strong it is here in Southern California. So, first of all, the news broke today that Disneyland here in Southern California will be, as they put it, sunsetting their annual pass holder program. I'm going to first just read from this press release here on the matter. And then we're going to talk and get some... I'm going to talk to Superfan here, because you have been a pass holder for how long now, would you say?
20 plus years.
20 plus years, yeah. So you have experienced a lot there. You've seen a lot of changes. And over the years, you've shared with me certain thoughts and opinions that we're going to be talking about here. So you have you've had a lot of experience with this. But let me go ahead and read this press release first. This was posted today, and it's on the Disneyland website. Dear annual pass holder, for nearly 4 decades, our annual passport program has been an important part of connecting with some of our most valued guests. We are incredibly honored and grateful for that legacy and the memories and magical moments you have helped us create over the years. It's because you've played such an important part in the history of the Disneyland Resort that I personally wanted to share this news with you. In the next several days, we will begin the process of issuing appropriate refunds for eligible Disneyland Resort annual passports and sunsetting the current annual passport program due to the continued uncertainty of the pandemic and limitations and expected restrictions around the reopening of our theme parks. I know that sunsetting the annual passport program will be disappointing to many of our pass holders who are just as anxious as we are to reopen our gates and welcome guests back when the time is right. But we are also very excited about what's ahead. We plan to use this time while we remain closed to develop new membership offerings that will utilize consumer insights to deliver choice, flexibility, and value for our biggest fans. Once we have more information to share about future membership offerings, our pass holders will be the first to hear from us as we embark on this next chapter. And then it goes on to talk about, how you can get your refunds, all of that sort of thing. That's all there. So you have been a pass holder for roughly 20 years.
Yes.
And let's first I can hear the disappointment in your voice. Normally you're a lot more chipper. What are your immediate feelings? How do you feel about this?
I find it very sad.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of pass holders do. And this must be kind of hard for people who are not part of this culture to understand that it is really a community of people who, here in Southern California, who love Disneyland, and they love Disney too. And I know you love Disney. You're a big fan.
Yes.
And they're big Disney fans. They're big Disneyland fans. A lot of yous do start special days at Disneyland. I think that, didn't things like Dapper Days come from the fans?
I heard that it started Because a group of people noticed how nice people looked on opening day.
Back when Disneyland first opened.
Yeah, in the 50s.
I don't want to get too far off track here with this.
Yeah, no.
But I know you're very sad, and I'm sure a lot of their fans are very sad because you've been anxiously waiting for the parks to reopen. Let me ask you, why do you think they're doing this? Why can't they just, when the parks reopen, let the fans who are pass holders, use their passes? Initially, when the pandemic first broke, they said, okay, we're basically going to put a suspension on your pass. When we reopen, your passes will be, I guess, prorated.
Resumed. No, they'll resume
where you left off.
Where you left off. If you had 60 days left on your pass, you will get an additional 60 days.
Exactly.
When we reopen.
You get to resume.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the pandemic has lasted probably a lot longer than they would have anticipated.
Yes.
When this first happened, we didn't know what was going to happen.
A 2 or 3 week shutdown.
Yeah, at
was
first.
What it was thought to be.
But
and
now we're going close to on a year. It's getting close to a year
months.
Since they've shut down. Unlike Florida, which got to reopen.
And Florida, their pass system is still in place, although one of the passes, the Premier Pass, will be eliminated as of March 31st.
But it's not the huge sweeping change that's happening here. So let me ask you, why? Well, okay, you're right, But let's not talk about things that haven't happened. But let's talk about, why do you think they've made this decision?
I think that a lot of it has to do with the number of pass holders at Disneyland. I think that that's the main reason.
And I want to jump in here. For years now, you have oftentimes talked to me about the fact that a large part of the Disneyland Park's business and traffic is from pass holders.
It is rumored that there are over 1 million pass holders for Disneyland.
Yeah. And they make up a huge part of the business that comes in there. These pass holders pay a large fee for that annual pass, and there are tiers of pass holders where some get limited access throughout the year, others can have unlimited access. And I don't want you to say how much you pay, but you pay quite a bit for your annual pass. You have unlimited.
Yeah, I can go. I don't have a Premier Pass. I have a Signature Plus. It's expensive, but I live 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
I'm there a lot. Just to park in the parking structure is $20.
And you don't have to pay that with your pass.
I don't pay that. When they had the movie theater there, that was our movie theater that we went to.
Yeah, you're right. And I should mention, I don't have a pass to this, but we have made use of your pass to be able to park there in the Disneyland parking structure and go to the AMC movie theater when it was there at the Downtown Disney District, which was the shopping center.
Yeah.
And to use the different restaurants and shops. We've made use of your pass to do that.
Yeah.
But you do pay a lot for that pass, and
I'm there multiple times.
Yeah, and I've always said,
I've
always said, if it makes you happy, it makes you happy, and that's what I've heard as I talk to other pass holders. That one of my mechanics was, I found out one day, he was a pass holder, and he said, I get my job is so stressful sometimes. To me, that's my release. I get to go to Disneyland once a week and just basically forget all the garbage of the rest of the world. And, if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. I know some people, if they heard the prices that you pay for pass holders, they would scoff and say, oh my gosh, but it's like, hey, think about people who pay for season tickets to Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
But
if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. And I don't begrudge anybody anything, even though it's not something that I would pay for or think is, worth my money. It's worth their money. There are a lot of people who wouldn't pay what I've paid for a guitar, so it's all relative. But I don't want to get too far off topic here.
Everybody has their thing.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too far off topic here. You've been telling me for a long time that you feel that they're trying to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Reduce the number of pass holders.
Reduce the number of pass holders. And how do you feel like, and what are some of the things you've seen over the years that you make you feel this way?
When when we got our first passport, and you had a passport,
I did have it for 2 years, yes, and then I said
bought
I'm
you
done.
one the first year.
And then I paid for it. I renewed it the second year, and back then it was $200
$200
for unlimited access
now,
all year round.
Yeah. Now it's over $1,000. I think that they thought when they did their tier system and raised the prices significantly as much as they did. I mean, that's a huge price jump from $200 to over $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think they thought they would see pass holder levels go down.
But they went up.
I think they went up.
Yeah.
I think it backfired on them. And this is a way to reset.
And why would they want pass holders to be less prevalent at the park?
I think that they feel that it takes away from
The tourist.
Coming in there maybe
Once a year at best, or
At best.
maybe once every couple of years,
Yeah.
or once a decade.
if that. I think that they feel like they're going to spend more money, but I think that that's not true because it's the pass holders, I think, right now that are keeping them going.
Well, yeah, I would tend to agree with you, especially with my experience with you, because lots of pass holders show up to downtown Disney as well. They go there quite regularly as well. And from what I see, it's the pass holders who really are into buying merch
Yeah.
there. In fact, there are special like Disney creates special collectibles every single year, multiple times a year, and pass holders swarm to buy those.
Yeah.
And they're in the position to buy them regularly, whereas the family that maybe goes once a year or every 5 years or every decade, they're not in that position to do that.
I bought the pass holder Chinese New Year shirt. They have pass holder spirit jerseys. They have pass holder pins. They have pass holder magnets that you can put on your car.
They're very aware of how large that is, and I think when
All
they
of
open,
which I have.
yeah, okay, I believe it. I believe it. But they're very much aware of the pass holders, so they start creating merch that is, for that to get them purchasing that. But even still, it seems like pass holders do buy a lot of merch. They also come in and they eat. They buy food. They have favorite restaurants they like to go to and frequent all the time. And I remember when Galaxy's Edge first opened, there was the opening weeks where Disneyland was a graveyard. This happened with Disney World. When it first opened, it was a graveyard because everybody avoided it thinking it's going to be crazy trying to get there, so no one went. And what happened with Galaxy's Edge is part of it was people saying it's going to be crazy, wait till it stops being crazy. But also, there was a lot of limitations for pass holders. Unless you had the really high-end tier like you had, most pass holders couldn't go in during the time that Galaxy's Edge opened.
Yeah.
And that severely limited attendance. And it was, to me, proof positive just how huge the pass holder culture is in Southern California,
Yeah,
unlike Florida, where it's more tourist-driven. And Florida, of course, has, I think, 5 parks. They've got Magic Kingdom, which is their version of Disneyland. They've got Hollywood Studios. They've got Epcot. They've got Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom.
And there's a water one, too.
There's 2 water parks.
Two water parks.
6.
So there's 6 parks there. So it's a much larger tourist attraction because of how big it is and how many parks they have. Whereas here, they just have the Disneyland and they have the California Adventure. And while they're both very popular, I think a lot of it's obvious to me that a lot of the foot traffic is the pass holders.
Yes.
So do you think that this is going to turn off a lot of pass holders and make them say, screw you?
Not the diehard ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change. It's not going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to have the same access.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm going to be able to go on Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the parking's going to be included.
Do you think they're going to make it more expensive?
I think it's going to be different. I think that it'll probably...
Or should I say not more expensive, but not get quite the value you used to get?
I think for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
because in a given week, I would be there 2 or 3 days.
Mm-hmm. You were mentioning to me when this story first came up that you had this feeling that when they reopen, that there's this concern by Disney corporate that when it reopens, pass holders will just flood the gates and average Joe won't be able to get in.
Yeah, and I think that's true, but
Average Joe, I don't think is going to want to flood the gates opening week.
I don't think so.
Yeah, average Joe's going to stay away.
I think that they're going to be freaked out. I've watched what happened in Florida, and they have, say, and this is absolutely not the number, but they have 500 tickets for hotel guests. They have 500 tickets for just ticket buyers off the street, and they have 500 spots for
pass holders.
The pass holders.
Yeah.
And you make your reservation there.
Uh-huh.
There was nothing to stop them from doing the same thing here.
Yeah.
Other than there are so many pass holders, I think that the pass holders would have broken it. Well, and that did happen in Florida when they reopened. Their system crashed.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see if this improves their business or if they take a real hit from it. Because to me, the Galaxy's Edge experience really kind of showed that pass holders, they buy a lot of stuff in there. Yeah, they only pay once a year. They pay a hefty fee to do it. But then they buy stuff all the time.
You could pay monthly as well. You could have your monthly thing.
Even still, it's expensive. It's probably more expensive monthly, I would imagine.
No, they charged the same amount.
Oh, it's the same. Okay, well, that was good.
Yeah, they didn't charge fee.
Okay, I would have thought that they would have done it the other way.
They would just hit your credit card once a month and take a fee. They don't take a fee. Well,
then you kind of are paying for your entrance every month. And of course, you can go more than once a month. You can go quite a bit.
Yeah, and there are, and I think that this is what they thought when they went to the tier system. I know of people all over the country that have annual passes to Disneyland.
Really?
Because they come here enough.
Ah, okay.
It's their thing, and that's what they do, and they can afford it.
Yeah.
More power to them.
Yeah, they can afford it.
I wish I could, because I'd go to Florida more.
I'm sure you do, and I'm sure you would.
But I am concerned that it's going to turn into a membership, and it's going to become a Club 33 situation where you're paying you pay a huge amount. I have no idea what the numbers are, but a huge amount to join, and then a huge amount in dues every month.
Give anybody who's not familiar just a little idea of what Club 33 membership means, what that means.
Club 33 is an exclusive club that's above...
in the Disneyland Park.
In Disneyland. It's 33 Royale Street. You can see there's a buzzer that you ring.
Yeah.
And it's a restaurant that's up above, and it's the only place until Galaxy's Edge that served alcohol.
Mm-hmm. For decades. It was the only place you could buy alcohol in Disneyland, and if you weren't a member, you weren't getting in.
Or if you're a guest of a member.
Okay.
But
it's very exclusive.
It's a millionaires club. You have to be a millionaire to join.
Uh-huh.
It's
because they charge so much.
Yeah, and there are perks that come with it, and if I could afford it, I would do it.
Yeah.
But there's also a huge waiting list, like a 10-year waiting list.
Wow. That's amazing that there's people waiting in line for decades to do this. And once again, I don't begrudge these people. Don't take my comment the wrong way. And those of you listening to this, don't take this comment the wrong way. It baffles me. It amazes me. But like I said, there are people who wouldn't pay as much as I pay for a guitar, too. It's all relative to where your passions lie and what you're into. And so we don't judge. It's just like if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. You're not hurting anybody.
Yes.
Anyhow, though.
But yeah, I am very sad, and I am very concerned that I don't think they'll be able to price me out completely. But
do you think they'll try?
I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, who knows? Nobody knows.
If it becomes like a gym membership, and there are different levels to that, and maybe you're just paying monthly, and you get discounts in a different way. Maybe it'll work out in my favor, and there will be things like you get tickets, you get a universal ticket that will work at any Disney park a year as part of your membership, whatever level. If you go for, that could be a thing.
I have a feeling that if they don't price out the pass holders, they're going to severely limit their access. Severely limit it.
I think so.
Yeah, because I think that's what they're feeling is that they feel the tourists will spend more money, that they'll make more money from them paying to come in for a day or 2 days.
I think they underestimate us.
I think initially you said the Passholder program was just there to increase attendance.
Yeah. But I think the level at the point that we got it was you could get one for California Adventure, you could get one for Disneyland, or you could get one for both. Mm-hmm. I got the one for both because it made sense to me.
Yeah. I think they may have done something where it wasn't that much more to do both, so it was to encourage people to go to California Adventure.
Yeah, they were trying to bring
at
business
first,
in.
California Adventure was a flop. It really was a flop when it started. It was not well thought out. But like anything, throughout Disney's history, they've had their flops, and they've always learned from their flops, and they've learned how to course correct. And now California Adventure is extremely popular. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'll be curious to see what your thoughts are once they announce the news, what they're going to do. At some point, I have a feeling that they are going to announce reopening even during the tail end of the pandemic. Florida showed that they could reopen and do it safely. When we went to Downtown Disney during the pandemic, they followed all the same security guidelines as Florida. And I'll admit, when we went to Downtown Disney, I felt safer going there than I did to the supermarket or Costco or Target or any other place that I could go to. I felt the safest going there. I think they ran it in a very safe way. And I'm sure they're going to reopen. If they do reopen, it'll be probably soon. They have had a long battle with the local government here trying to get reopened and being refused. And I think that maybe part of the deal with making themselves part of the vaccination supercenter is we get to reopen. That's just speculation on my part. But I would not be surprised to find out that's part of the deal.
Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. The long battle has been with the governor.
I know.
Not the local government.
That's what I meant. And I was trying not to get too specific here, but I know you have felt very strongly about this. So go ahead. This is your opinion.
Well, that's just it. That's my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's coming from the top.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I understand being safe. I understand taking. I understand that some places are just crowd gathering super spreaders for this pandemic, but they've proven it. They've proven it how they run Downtown Disney here in Southern California. And I think they proved it with everything we've seen of how they're running Florida, where we're allowed to reopen with restrictions. And they've proved they can do it and do it safely. So I honestly don't understand why the governor wouldn't allow Disneyland to reopen, but would allow other businesses that seem to be better at being a super spreader. To me, it's just kind of weird. But I will admit, it seems unusual that they won't let it open when it's one of the biggest employers in Orange County.
It's not one of, it is.
It is the biggest employer in Orange County, and there are surrounding businesses that really rely on them to be open.
Yeah, there are many businesses that have gone out and shut their doors forever because Disneyland has been closed for 10 months.
For 10 months, yeah. And any business, I think, has to prove that they can, if they are going to reopen, they have to prove they can do it safely. But I think they need to be given the chance to prove it. And that's the thing.
Yeah,
Disney
if it wasn't safe, they would shut.
That's right. Disney proved it with Florida. They proved it here with Downtown Disney, that they could do this, and yet they're still not allowed to reopen here in California.
And Knott's Berry Farm has done the same with the Taste of Knott's.
Yeah, but they still don't get to open the park.
And, even Universal, until the most recent shutdown, had their shopping district open as well without any issues. So yeah, it's a weird thing. And we've seen other things open that to us puzzled us because we saw a little at the Anaheim Stadium, they had a little amusement park thing open. They had a carnival.
Carnival open. So that gets to be opened.
But the theme parks don't.
Yeah, it just, to me, it's that's going to be...
Where it's a fly-by-night...
Yeah, a little fly-by-night carnival. How much can you guarantee that they're really providing proper enforcement of rules, whereas you could see how well Disneyland Florida engineered new ways to have lineup queues where people were distanced, so many measures in place to keep people safe. And so, yeah, it is puzzling. But once again, we're not privy.
Yeah.
So,
well, and ultimately the fact that they've announced this and suddenly, it seems, at least to me,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's a positive in that things are going to reopen sooner than later.
I have a feeling they will. I think that was part of the deal of using their facilities as a supercenter vaccination center. I really think so.
I can't imagine, but at least they're communicating again.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to see. Anyways, everybody, let us know what you thought. We'd be curious to hear what you think about this. I think it's an interesting story, and like I said, if you're one of the regular subscribers here and you're used to hearing me not talk about this kind of stuff, hopefully you found this interesting. Just hearing about this whole culture and community. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you like what I do, be sure to click like, click subscribe, smash the bell notification icon. I hope you all stay safe and healthy. You know, we're not out of the woods yet, but we're working our way towards it. In the meantime, it's so easy to stay safe. Just wash your hands. Just keep your distance and just wear your mask. It's not that hard. It's not draconian.
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt you. Yeah, just play nice and be safe. Even if you don't believe in this stuff, play nice and be safe.
It doesn't hurt you, but it might hurt somebody else.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Bye.